Welcome back to Angler Carl. Now in this video today I have got a good versus. I am versing probably the most popular two pieces of terminal tackle we're in. Oh, it's just come off. Damn it, that one just come off. I literally had a bite straight away. I'm using two rods today, so this could get a bit chaotic. Today, as I was saying before that bite, I am versing the method feeder against the hybrid feeder. And I find these are one of the most two popular bits of terminal tackle that people use. And for me, they are a very good tool and they're probably one of my favourite ways to fish, especially when the weather gets good like it is today. It's a method that is just unbeatable. So I'm going to get this one back out. Even all the pellets didn't come out of that. So yeah, that was down in the edge, which I knew it'd be good. I've just got another one to the far island, and once I get this casted back out, I'm going to go into a bit of detail why I think these are both great. Before this video does go any further, if you do enjoy the content on this channel, make sure you get subscribed. It's free of charge, doesn't cost you a penny. That way you lot can just stay up to date with what I'm doing and when videos get posted like this. Get your comments down below. Do you prefer the method feeder or the hybrid feeder? While I've got it in my hand, the method feeder I'm using today is a Drennan one. I really do like these, and they come pre with the mould, so it saves you buying a separate mould. But as I said, we're going to get this one casted back out into that margin. We've had a few liners on the other one, but nothing yet, which is probably a good idea. I'm a bit crazy using two rods here today. We are at Ledger Lakes. It's an absolute stunning day today, and yeah, I'll get some nice shots for you. But let's get this one out and let's see if we can get another fish. So these are two methods that I've been using for such a long time, and for me there's no better method than this. I do apologise for the background noise. We have got a big truck just going past down the road ahead. I'm gonna talk about the features of which. So a method feeder is very, very flat. It literally sits flat on the lake bed. It just presents, I think, more bait, because with a method it doesn't have essentially the walls that a hybrid feeder does. So for me, say if you're on a small venue like I'm on today, a method feeder would be good because you can get that bit more bait in, and again I just think it breaks down a lot quicker than what the hybrid feeder does. If you're new to fishing, which a lot of people are, I would generally opt for the hybrid feeder, just because sometimes as a beginner it can be quite fiddly getting your bait in these moulds and then putting the pellets in and then sort of squeezing the method feeder in it. It's not really a deal breaker, but I just find sometimes with the hybrid feeder, when you're putting the bait in and the pellets, we've just had a drop back. Yeah, that were a bit chaotic. I might end up regretting using two rods. If it does get too crazy, I will bring one in while I'm doing this little sector here on the video. But yeah, essentially the hybrid feeder for me is better for a beginner. It just makes everything easy. All you're doing is essentially putting the pellets in, pressing them down, then put your bait in, cover the hook up with some pellets, push them down, and then you just get a few micros like this in your hand, sort of like, it's kind of difficult on camera, and then you just squeeze the hybrid feeder and then you just make a nice little ball in there and then you can cast it out. For me, if I'm on a bigger venue, I would rather go with the hybrid feeder just because of the walls on the feeder. I do find that, and again, a deeper lake as well, so if I'm doing a long distance cast on a deeper lake, I'd much rather use the hybrid feeder, as with them walls it does protect your bait a bit more and you won't lose as much as you would on a method feeder. That is certainly my favourite on both. In terms of casting, you can't really tell a difference. For me, the casting of both of these are very similar. You know, the hybrid casts exactly the same as the method. What some people do with the method is they'll double sort of pack them, so they'll squeeze the mould on so the pellets are on the method, put some more in, squeeze it again. So essentially you're building up layers and layers on the Method feeder so you can get a lot of feed in your swim. You can do the same with the hybrid feeder, just push it in and then get some more pellets and build it up on that feeder as well. So both are quite versatile like that. And like I said, apart from the simple of ease, I do find them both good. I find myself using both a lot of times. If I'm wanting, like I said, ease of use and quickness, I will go with hybrid. We are in. Right, good news. First fish on the Method. Lovely, shiny, silvery common. It might be difficult to see with the sunlight, but that's going to be a great fish one day. And yeah, lovely fish on the Method, down in the margin. But as I say, you know, it's just placement, I think, more than the feeder. But let's get this back and let's see if we can get it on another one. One thing with the Method as well, you have to make sure your pellets are bang on. I find sometimes with the hybrid feeder that you can get away with your pellets not being perfect straight away. That's what it'll look like. So your bait essentially is always going to be sat on top of the Method. For me personally, I think as soon as that feeder hits the bottom of the lake, it breaks up straight away. Even though it's compacted together nicely, I just find that when that feeder hits the water, I just find it'll instantly break up and everything will sit down. And I did see some underwater footage on another video and that was the case. Whereas with the hybrid feeder, I find that it might be a different story and that it will be a bit better. So let's get this one casted back out. But yeah, nevertheless, nice fish to start with, a nice little silvery common. As I said, there's some monsters in here, so who knows, we might even get a double. You don't have to mess around with moulds with hybrids, so again that can be seen as another positive for me, the fact that there's no need for these things. I don't think one's going to be better than the other. Even if the hybrid is, even if the Method is getting more bites, that is probably because of placement and hook bait colour, although all the action seems to be coming from that. But again, what I will be doing is I will be probably moving spots. Say if we don't get out to that island, I will move spots. So yeah, if you don't want to mess around with these things, that is definitely a good reason to buy a hybrid feeder over the Method. I think I'm going to recast the hybrid, and while I'm recasting it, I'll show you lot just how easy it is to get one of them prepared. I've just literally using a Preston hybrid feeder today. I really do like these with the inline stems. You can change them real quick. This does have the elasticated one because you are allowed to have the elasticated feeders here at Ledger Lakes, which is really good. I will be doing a review on these elasticated stems at some point. All I do is simply chuck a few in like that, kind of so it's level to the feeder, and then what I like to do is get my hook bait, now I'm using a wafter today, and just push that in the pellets, put some over the line, and that way it just traps your bait in. So normally when you just put the bait in, the line will be lifted up and sometimes it can move and come out, whereas if I put some pellets over the line, it'll just stay there, and then all I've got to do then is just push it in, mould it around, and it is so easy. Honestly, it really is. I do get a bit sort of OCD with wanting it to look perfect. There you go, that's how it looks. Very nice, and like I said, just with them walls, it'll keep some of that bait in. Yes, you'll lose some on the cast, it's always going to happen, but the point I'm making, it's a lot more simpler and it's not as fiddly when using this compared to messing around with the mould, and everything's just much more simpler. And if you are a beginner, I think a lot of you are going to prefer this way over the method feeder. Okay, so it's been quite a while since we've had anything, but I've just had a decent little mirror carp. Yeah, I'm hoping this will behave, but there you go. Again, on the method, lovely little silvery mirror carp. I do love catching fish like this, even though they're not of any sort of substantial size. It's not about the size, it's the fact that you're just catching awesome fish like that. One thing I do want to say while I cast this method feeder into the margin is that when you do use the method a lot, you do get used to how to fill it up and stuff. So I think that is the big thing. It's personal preference, you know, whether you like messing around with a mold or essentially whether you just like to, you know, get the pellets straight in. I think if you're on a quick session and you don't have much time, I definitely think the best thing to do is to literally just get the hybrid feeder, and then you aren't going to mess about like that. And also, like I mentioned previously, the pellets don't have to be perfect. They can be, you know, they can still be a bit damp and you can get them in and everything will be fine. Whereas with the method, I always find they've got to be perfect. I've actually had to just put some more water in the pellets because they was drying up because the weather is so nice today. We do have a bit of cloud coming, so I'm hoping the sun will stay out because it's such a lovely day. It's actually not a bad fish, but there you go, a lovely mirror carp. Really nice, that one. Slight problem. We've literally just been snapped off and this is a £7 hook length. Like whatever that was, it was big. I literally cast it down into the margin and we literally got snapped off. Not sure whether I should have had the clutch a bit looser. The alarm did go crazy and yeah, it just literally, I struck into it and it came off straight away. So whatever that was, it was definitely a big fish. Okay, so it's been an absolute cracker of a day. We've had some nice fish, both on the method feeder and the hybrid feeder. I've currently just got one rod out at the minute, as like I said, I did get snapped on the hybrid feeder, so whatever it was a decent fish nevertheless. So, like I said, to sum this video up, if I'm on a big lake, I'm using the hybrid all day long. Whereas if I'm on a small lake like this, I'm heading for the method feeder all the time. And as I mentioned before, let me know in the comments below what you people like to use. Do you like to use the hybrid or the method? And also let me know if you use both and what you think of them. So that is pretty much it for this versus today. I will be versing a lot more stuff, so make sure you hit the bell so you're notified when them videos do come out, and get subscribed to the channel. It's free of charge, doesn't cost you a penny. Share this video around, and if you're fishing on the method or the hybrid feeder, have a good one.